Hey, what up, y'all? I have a quick update on Bunny Blue. Let's get it.
This little one just completed what might be the most incredible process known to man: the transformation of one cell into 2 trillion.
Watch it in person.
This is Bunny Blue
She was
with a
arrested in
harsh
Bali,
ass.
deported, and then banned for a decade. That should have been the end of the story, right? Nope. Instead, Bonnie Blue is accused of showing up outside the Indonesian embassy in London and sparked a whole new criminal case and a possible jail sentence. What did she do? And how did this spiral from what, a $13 fine to now a charge in the UK? We're going to break it down. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, before we go on, if you owe the IRS more than $25,000 in back taxes, I need you to listen up. Does the thought of your back taxes keep you up at night wondering if the IRS is about to levy your bank account or garnish your paycheck? That is where Tax Hardship Center comes in, the #1 tax relief firm in the whole country with an A+ rating that has settled hundreds of millions in tax debt for people just like you. Don't call the IRS and poke the bear. Don't do that. No, the experts at Tax Hardship Center can find out where you stand without you even lifting a finger, and they can lay out a plan to fight for the best possible resolution. You can even start your free, no-obligation consultation right from your phone. So if you owe back taxes, go to taxhardshipcenter.com/taxhelp now or call 877-644-6939 right now and let them show you a way out.
Meant to be packing and then heading back to immigration. All immigration want to do is keep interrogating me. I've told them they're obsessed with me at this point.
Yes, I got arrested in Bali for filming. So it's about time they came to the embassy so they could watch it in person.
You remember her? That's Bonnie Blue, real name Tia Billinger, the British adult content creator who went to Bali, got herself arrested on the Bang bus, stared down, a 15-year potential prison sentence in, by the way, an Indonesian prison, and then walked away with a $12, $13 fine and a decade-long ban from the country. We thought that was it. We thought that chapter was over.
Yeah,
Right?
should have been it.
She went home, end of the story.
But it wasn't.
Guess what? According to authorities, it wasn't. Because according to police, she then decided, right after coming back from Indonesia, she allegedly decided to pay a visit to the Indonesian embassy in London, surrounded by masked men holding their flag, the Indonesian flag, and allegedly mimicking a sex act right outside the gate. Now, spoiler alert, they didn't love that. Because now she has been charged with the crime of outraging public decency by London police. She could potentially face up to 6 months in prison. And she's also due in court next month. So now the question is, what is going on here? She's back in the news. We got to talk about it.
Well, guys, I am actually pregnant, so Bonnie Blue's breeding mission, turns out it was actually a success.
I guess I got to take a step back, right? Because if you're just joining us and you have no idea who that is or what a breeding mission means, let's buckle up here, okay? You're about to learn a lot. That voice belongs to Bonnie Blue, real name Tia Billinger. She's a 26-year-old British adult content creator. And if you haven't heard of her yet, here's the short version, okay? She makes her money online. She travels the world. It appears that she has a very specific talent for getting herself into trouble in countries with very strict laws. And the trouble started late last year, November of 2025. We covered this here on Sidebar. Bonnie Blue lands in Bali, Indonesia. Now, if you know anything about Indonesia, you know they take morality and anti-pornography laws incredibly seriously, like decades in prison seriously. Now, Bonnie rolls in with a truck, a literal truck, by the way. She bought it for like about $1,200, painted it blue, slapped the logo on the side that said, and I kid you not, Bonnie Blue's Bang Bus.
Hey parents, remember when I said I was going to pick your sons up? I wasn't lying. No, body schoolies is bad this year. For sure.
Yeah, schoolies, that's what they call the...
Even though Bunny Blue is a complete slut bucket, she's also a race baiter. Not race baiter. Rage baiter, excuse me.
annual week-long party where Australian high school graduates celebrate finishing school, so super young, but adults, super young, not minors. And Bonnie's plan was to drive that bus around Bali, pick up guys, and let's just say make content. Spoiler alert again.
Tap screen, please.
Not too happy.
Please tap
December
screen.
5th, police raid a studio in an area called Pereiranon. Apologies if I mispronounced it. They seize cameras, phones, condoms, USB drives, the whole kit. They detain Bonnie Blue and 3 other men, so 2 British, 1 Australian, and another 14 guys are questioned and ultimately released. Now, initially, it's pretty terrifying, right? We're talking about Indonesia, their anti-pornography laws. Conviction can mean up to 15 years in prison, and the headlines, write for themselves. But then, something happens. Police start going through the footage, and according to the International Business Times, they realize something. There's no nudity, there's no genitalia, there's no explicit sex acts actually being filmed, at least nothing they could prove was made for public distribution. A police spokesperson actually told the press, quote, when they were raided, they were making collab content about a game where the winner would sleep with Bonnie Blue. No pornographic activities or acts have been found in the collaborative content. So, in the end, there was no pornography charges. Now, that doesn't mean that she walks free, because now immigration steps in. And their problem isn't what she was filming, it's that she was filming at all. She was in Indonesia on a tourist visa. You're not allowed to work on a tourist visa, and driving around in a bang bus making commercial content, that's basically work.
I'm ready to pay for trial. I've only just woken up and I've got 20 minutes. T-shirt. Family have strongly said don't.
That video was posted the morning of her court date, December 12th. So she walks into the Denpasar district court. Has her dad arrested alongside her. And here's where it gets almost comical. So the judge finds her, not for pornography, not even for visa violations, at least not directly. She gets fined for a traffic violation because the bus, it was untaxed. It was illegally repainted. The driver didn't have a proper license. And the fine was 200,000 Indonesian rupiah. It's about $13 US.
Ever wondered what deportation looks like? Well, this is it.
So she pays the $13, but immigration isn't done. They deport her. They kick her out of the country, and they slap her with a 10-year ban from ever coming back to Indonesia. Their official statement says her activities were, and I quote, inconsistent with the government's efforts to maintain Bali's quality tourism image, and that she showed a lack of respect for local cultural values. So, Bonnie Blue gets on a plane, she flies home to the UK, and for about, maybe 48 hours, that's it, story's over.
So it's past 30 minutes, they're saying we can't eat her for no other reason, just social investigation, but they've got absolutely cultural level. So, she never met anyone with a tiny immigration in Bali.
December 15th, same week she gets back, she allegedly shows up outside the Indonesian embassy in London. It's about a mile from Buckingham Palace. She's surrounded by men, or appears to be surrounded by men in hoods and masks, and she's holding an Indonesian flag pinned to her skirt, trailing on the ground, and she allegedly proceeds to mimic a sex act right there on the street.
Yes, I got arrested in Bali for filming. So it's about time they came to the embassy so they could watch it in person.
The video goes viral. Indonesia notices. Their embassy apparently files a formal complaint with UK authorities. And then what happens? Now, she's being charged by London's Metropolitan Police with outraging public decency. And just so we're clear what that means, I looked it up on the website, the Royal Crown Prosecution website. It's a criminal offense in the UK. Any act in public that's lewd, obscene, or disgusting, the kind of thing.
She just loves being a slut bucket, don't she?
Crosses a line, and if convicted, she's looking at up to 6 months in prison, and maybe what's known as an unlimited fine or a major fine, or both. Her next court date is set for April 22nd at Westminster Magistrates Court. So now we've got big questions. How does a $13 traffic fine in Bali turn into a possible jail sentence in London? Will evidence from there come into this case? What happens when a diplomatic complaint becomes a criminal case? What does this mean for someone whose entire brand is pushing boundaries? Could she end up behind bars? We're going to bring in somebody who actually understands how this works. But first, okay, here's the thing. To understand this, to try to at least understand this anyway, you got to understand who Bonnie Blue actually is. Not the headlines, the person. And luckily, she documents, like, everything.
I'm the girl that rage baits, the one that takes your son's virginity and has no issue making your husband cheat.
That's how she introduces herself to the world. 26 years old, real name Tia Billinger, worth reportedly around 3 million pounds, and her whole brand is pushing buttons, testing limits, seeing what happens. And here's what happened in Bali.
Just done my skincare, picked out an airport outfit, then headed back to immigration to be interrogated.
20 guys, 1 girl, so you best believe that video's going to get uploaded as soon as I'm back.
That's her talking about her Bali interrogation. Phone seized, facing years in prison, and she's laughing. This is Bonnie Blue arriving for questioning at the immigration office in Bali. Now,
she is such a rage baiter,
she intended to make more explicit content in Bali. She replied, "Subscribe and you'll find out." All right, so whenever I talk about international issues, apparently whenever I talk about Bonnie Blue, I bring on international law attorney David Teferi to help sort out what all of this means. David, thanks for taking the time yet again to talk about this. How serious is this?
Well, it's probably not too serious. That my expectation is that she will probably be found guilty or perhaps plead guilty, but the sentence could be up to 6 months in prison. I don't expect that they would go to that maximum for her, but I do think that a judge or a jury, and it could be either one that decides her case, will find that she did this intentionally and that she was looking for a public reaction, and so they may punish her appropriately to try to make sure she doesn't do it again.
What is appropriately, and why do you think it wouldn't be 6 months?
I think it would not be 6 months because I think it's the first time she's been arrested in the UK for something like this, so she's a first-time offender. And also this is, although it is, public indecency, and it could cause public outrage, especially what she did in this instance, I think that this is still a minor crime. It's not a serious crime. No one was harmed. There's no specific victim of the crime. And that's why I don't think she'll get the 6 months, even though the crime carries a sentence up to 6 months.
And you believe that she would be found guilty, or there's not really much of a defense here? Because I'm going to read you again what it said from the Crown Prosecution website. It is an offense at common law to do in public any act of a lewd, obscene, or disgusting nature that outrages public decency. This offense should only be considered if the incident falls outside the statutory offenses. For example, if it is not possible to prove the mental element required for an exposure offense, or exceptionally, if the offense merits a higher penalty than that available in relation to the statutory offense. So a lot of legalese there, but you saw the video, right? It's not like she's, I don't know, running around naked. It's not like she's actually performing a sex act in public. She mimicked the sex act, allegedly mimicked the sex act several times outside the embassy. You have all those men in the masks. Does it rise to the level of this offense?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's going to depend on what the judge, if it's tried by a judge, or the jury, if it's tried in the Crown's court by a jury, believes. I think that they will see this as intentional. There wasn't a mistake here. She wasn't, doing something in public. She didn't realize people were watching. She filmed it intentionally. She was surrounded by men in masks, which creates a sort of imposing image in the video. And so again, it's going to be up to the jury, and obscenity is what people think it is, what it might be. It's just not clear.
And I mean, she allegedly did it right after she got out of Indonesia, where she was facing potentially significant prison time. I mean, if these allegations are true, that's pretty bold of her to do this. And I agree, if she did take this to trial, she was found guilty, or she does take a deal, I feel like I do wonder how much the Indonesian case is going to factor into this. So let's talk about it. Is it going to be any evidence from what happened in Indonesia going to factor into this? Are any of the Indonesian authorities going to testify in this case? How much do you think that will affect this particular case? Because I think it goes to the idea of her alleged motive, right? Her alleged intent here.
These are all good questions that I've been thinking about. You know, what's surprising about her actions is that she actually got off in Indonesia and got pretty lucky because she
Very
could have been
lucky.
prosecuted in Indonesia for potentially more serious crimes, including it's a crime, as we discussed last time, to make a pornographic video in Indonesia, and in this case she was in Bali, and Bali has a very conservative culture, and so they could have prosecuted her for that, although they found that they determined that she wasn't making any pornographic materials yet when they raided her home, and that's why they decided not to prosecute her for that. They did charge her with a traffic crime because of her bus or van that she was driving around in Bali, again, a very minor offense, and she was ultimately deported on the grounds that she was misusing her visa. She was there on a tourist visa, but she was engaging in commercial activities, filming videos. So that is basically a compromised position that the Indonesian government took. They didn't want to prosecute her. They probably didn't want all the attention of prosecuting a tourist when tourism is so important in Bali, but they wanted to make her leave and send her a message, and so they used the visa issue to deport her. And so she now goes right in their face, goes to the embassy, does potentially lewd act in front of the embassy. She's basically, you know, in some ways instigating Indonesia to take further action. They did. They did the appropriate thing, which is not take action directly against her. They reported her to the police in the UK. I don't think what happened in Indonesia is particularly relevant to the crime that she's been accused of in the UK. That crime is just about, did you do the act in public? Is it offensive? Is it lewd? And not what has happened before in another country, although that is some context and background for why she did it, and it does indicate that she was acting with some vendetta against Indonesia.
Okay.
Because she could have been charged with this even if she had never gone to Indonesia, you know. Let me ask you this. Why did it take a minute before the charge, right? So the Metropolitan Police say the charge relates to an incident in Great Peter Street, SW1 on Monday, 15th of December. An investigation took place and a woman in her 20s was interviewed under caution on Tuesday, the 2nd of February. A referral was made to the Crown Prosecution Service, which subsequently authorized the above charge. So it's not like it's just happened yesterday. You're talking about something that allegedly happened in December. Now we're all on the way in March. What do you think happened there?
Yeah, apparently she was interviewed in February, as you said, and
if it was her, if that's who they interviewed, I imagine it was her.
Yeah, they said they described a woman in her 20s, but it sounds like, and some of the media is reporting that it was in fact her. You know, the wheels of justice can turn very slowly here in America. Same with in the UK. My guess is also this was a confounding issue for the UK. Maybe they wouldn't normally charge someone, but she's gotten so much attention and she keeps doing this and she keeps pushing the envelope. And so they may have decided that they need to charge her to prevent further future lewd acts in public.
So it also says Tia Billinger of Draycott in Derbyshire was charged via postal requisition on Monday, the 16th of March. She will appear at Westminster Magistrates Court on Wednesday, the 22nd of April. What happens next in this case? I mean, how does it work exactly? Because I know that the UK justice system is a little bit different than we have here, right? In terms of you can have an arrest without charges, right? I think that's the way it works. But here it sounds like she's being charged. I mean, what happens next at this court hearing? How does the process work moving forward?
So first of all, to break down what you said, I think she received her arrest warrant by mail. I think that's what the postal indication is. And so she wasn't physically arrested. And she has a date to report to court on April 22nd. It's not clear to me yet whether it's going to be a magistrate court or a crown court. If it's a magistrate court, she'll likely be tried by a judge or a panel of judges. If it's a crown court, then it would be a jury. And so they will probably, in this first hearing, set the case for trial. And also she would have a chance to plead guilty or not guilty.
Yeah, how quickly could a trial happen, if you know?
I don't know. It's going to take at least several months, perhaps longer.
Okay.
Could her Could she be restricted from traveling?
Well, it's possible. They could probably take her passport away if they wanted to make sure that she shows up for her court hearings. She may be given, terms by the judge which allow her to remain outside of prison while her case is pending.
Right.
Those terms could insist that she's not permitted to travel. They may not take her passport, but they may give her those terms, or they may take her passport to ensure it's very difficult for her to travel.
And if she were to hypothetically commit any other lewd act or kind of act of public decency, but moving forward after this charge, how does that affect her case?
I think it would just probably further entrench the prosecutors in their position that they need to pursue this and pursue the highest penalty possible. That could influence, whether she's sent to jail or not, if she's engages in further acts, because then it would show that she's not remorseful, that she didn't learn a lesson as a result of her arrest. Any new act would likely be charged separately, and it would result in a separate trial.
David Tafuri, thanks for making sense of this. I can't believe we're talking about it again, but, quite a development for her. But we'll see which way this criminal case proceeds. Thanks for taking the time, sir.
Sure, I feel like it won't be the last time we talk about Bonnie Blue.
We shall see.
It won't.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and as always, please subscribe on YouTube.
And that's it on Bonnie Blue for now. With that being said, I'll see y'all later. Peace.